morning, friends. It's May the 17th, and we've now been in this journey of COVID-19 for a couple of months. Our lives have changed. We've traveled through Lent. We experienced Holy Week together, and we know that the resurrection of Jesus is true. For spring is coming, a new life is being found everywhere that we look. And yet we are still confined to the safety of our own homes, keeping our neighbors, our community, our families safe from this virus. And I know for some this time has been difficult. The isolation has produced loneliness and depression has creeped in. For some, the parenting and homeschooling and working from home, all in a confined space, has been overwhelming. And so this morning as we gather, I want to lift up the reminder that we are not alone, even when we are in isolation, and that Christ is our sure foundation, that we as a community of faith come together to give thanks and gratitude to the one who offers us hope and strength, courage and compassion, love and empathy. So on this morning, let's gather to give our gratitude to God, and let's sing together our opening hymn from our beloved and familiar Voices United, Christ is made the sure foundation. today here from the home office that we have set up since COVID-19. I come to you on traditional territories of the Anishinaabe and the Attawandaron, the Huron and the Wendat peoples who have gathered for centuries to find sacred places to work, sacred places to gather, sacred places to be community and family, where there is safety in their midst. And so I come from the safety of our home to lift up and celebrate worship with you, to gather to give gratitude to God. This morning, I give gratitude for the Reverend Dr. David McKane, who is offering us our message today to lift up and share his gifts and the blessings of 50 years of ordination. So with our Christ candle this morning, reminding us that Jesus offers to us the light of the world, we also have a healing candle. And I ask for your prayers to be with Barb Plant as she lives with a new cancer diagnosis. We ask for God's blessing and healing to be with Barb. And I also ask that you lift up and pray for Dr. Doug Bocking, who had a fall and has broken his hip. And as we were planning to celebrate his 100th birthday, he fell and broke his hip. And so we ask for God's blessing to be with Doug and that healing might continue. As we gather in the traditional territories and the safety of our own homes, we recognize that the faith within us allows all that we do and in all the places that we do it to be sacred when we do it with the sacred fire of the light of Jesus Christ. So in this place, let's hear the words of all things work together for good from Lynn Shaw Bailey.
Thank you for joining us for worship today in the safety of your own home. And thank you, Michelle, for inviting me to participate in today's service. We hope you are all well. As children of light, we light our candles today, the Christ candle, in the name of one who called us to follow, walk in the light, who called himself the light of the world. Shirley Irina Murray from New Zealand, who died this past January, was a contemporary hymn writer who sought to use some of the Maori spirituality in her hymn writing. And I want to use one of her hymns as our gathering prayer this morning. Come and find a quiet center in the crowded life we lead. Find the room for hope to enter. Find the frame where we are freed. Clear the chaos and the clutter. Clear our eyes that we may see all the things that really matter. Be at peace and simply be. In these days of social distancing, we are discovering or rediscovering, as Shirley Irina Murray reminds us, the things that really matter. And we are learning to be at peace and to simply be.
dwell in the shelter of the Most High, who abide in the shadow of the Almighty, say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. For he will rescue you from the snare of the fowler, from the destroying pestilence. With his pinions he will cover you, and under his wings you shall take refuge. His faithfulness is a buckler and a shield. You shall not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, not the pestilence that roams in darkness, nor the devastating plague at noon. Though 1,000 fall at your side, 10,000 at your right side, near you it shall not come. Rather, with your eyes you shall behold and see the requital of the wicked, because you have the Lord for your refuge. You have made the Most High your stronghold. No evil shall befall you, nor shall affliction come near your tent. For to his angels he has given command about you, that they guard you in all your ways. Upon their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the asp and the viper. You shall trample down the lion and the dragon. Because you cling to me, I will deliver you. I will set you on high because you acknowledge my name. You shall call upon me, and I will answer you. I will be with you in distress. I will deliver you and glorify you. With length of days I will gratify you and will show you my salvation. For the word of God in Scripture among us and within us. Thanks be to God.
At the end of the month, Susan and I were scheduled to lead a Craig travel tour to Oberammergau in Germany to see the Passion Play. The people of Oberammergau have been performing this play of Christ's Passion every 10 years since the Great Plague of the 17th century. Another Great Plague, COVID-19, cancelled those plans, forced the people of Oberammergau to postpone their play until 2022. The play grew out of the Great Plague that hit at the end of the 30 Years' War that engulfed Central Europe. The war involved the armies of France, Spain, Holland, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, and Austria. And in those 30 years, or over those 30 years, they destroyed the crops every year, and the livestock, and the livelihoods of the people, creating a great wasteland of Central Europe and killing more than 8 million people. After 5 weeks of social distancing, I cannot imagine what 30 years would look like or feel like. But it reminded me of Martin Rinkart. You may not know the name of Martin Rinkart, but you may recognize one of his hymns, a hymn that I have asked our bass soloist, Alastair Smyth, to share with us.
Now thank we all our God with heart and hands and voices, who wondrous things has done, in whom this world rejoices. Who from our mother's arms has blessed us on our way with countless gifts of love, and still is ours today.
Martin Rinkart was a gifted musician at several prominent churches in Germany before he became a Lutheran minister. And he served the people of Ellenburg, his hometown, for 30 years. 30 years that almost exactly overlapped the 30 Years' War. Because Eilenburg was a walled city, refugees from the surrounding countryside poured into Ellenburg for safety and refuge. And it didn't take long for famine, poverty, and pestilence to set in. In the year of 1637, 8,000 people died of the disease, including all of the clergy, apart from Martin, most of the town council, and Martin Rinkart's wife. As the lone surviving minister in the town, Rinkart would conduct as many as 200 funerals a week. And during those terrific and terrible years, Rinkart gave away most of his clothes and most of his belongings in order to feed his family and to care for those in his congregation. And in the depths of the communal suffering that surrounded him, Rinkart wrote the hymn known to so many of us in the midst of despair and unending war, the destruction that wastes at noonday, as the psalmist says. Rinkart wrote these words and sang them into the face of the pestilence that stalks in the darkness. Listen to Alastair yet again.
Oh, may this bounteous God through all our life be near us, with ever joyful hearts and blessed peace to cheer us, and keep us strong in grace, and guide us when perplexed, and free us from all ill in this world and the next.
And keep us strong in grace, and guide us when perplexed, and free us from all ill. That is my wish and my prayer for each of you as we work our way through this pandemic. The writer of Psalm 91, possibly David, in the stained glass window behind me, writing in another time very different from ours, nonetheless gives us the image of a God who provides a safe and abiding place. Every child, indeed every person, needs a safe and secure abiding place. Every family psychologist worth her or his salt will tell you that security and freedom and love are indispensable for raising children who will function happily in life. But then we all love security. We all love to be sheltered. We all love to be embraced and loved. And this image of a caring God, of a loving, sheltering God, is one expression of our faith. There are other expressions, of course, that fill out the picture. but this one is an important piece in the jigsaw. Psalm 91, which the late James McDermott set to music, is another piece that I love to sing. James McDermott studied piano and composition here in London, Ontario, before going stateside to further his career. But like Shirley Irena Murray and Rinkart and the psalmist, McDermott captures in his music something of the God who provides a safe and abiding place. We will miss the Passion Play in Oberammergau this year. But the Passion Play is being played out before our eyes every day in the selfless service of those who staff our hospitals, our long-term care homes, grocery clerks, first responders, truck drivers who deliver the food to the grocery stores. May we celebrate their commitment and their dedication to our community welfare. Stay home and stay well.
What a day of blessing. We are so incredibly blessed at First St. Andrews, and we thank David and Alastair and Pamela and Susan behind the scenes for sharing your gifts, for offering who you are, and sharing all that God has placed within your hearts. You know, at First St. Andrews, there are so many ways that we can share our offering. where we can offer to one another the gifts that God has already offered to us, where we can share with community and neighborhood, with mission here locally in London and in Canada, and with mission work around the globe. We are so grateful that you continue to be generous through your PAR donations, through finding the donate button on the FSA website and sharing to our Easter Appeal campaign for the season of Easter, for sending your checks directly to the church office. All of your gifts and offerings help the mission and ministry of First St. Andrews and the mission and service of the United Church of Canada continue. We also want to invite you to share your own personal offering, to share where your heart is feeling fed, and also if you are feeling isolated, how you are feeling encouraged in your devotion, and also where the well is feeling dry. Know that we are here for you. Our community continues even in this new way. And so as we go from this time of worship, we go with thankful hearts, knowing that God continues to offer to us the new life of resurrection. And as we see the plants burst forth and the trees start to bloom out in leaf, as we see our friends and neighbors, as we continue to find safety within our own homes, and yet we also find the warmth of the sun rejuvenating and life-giving. We are experiencing the risen Christ, the new life that is amongst us. And so I invite you to continue to pray and give gratitude for our healthcare workers and our government officials, and also to find the ways that you can experience the resurrection of new life. For on this day, we give our gratitude. Now thank we all our God. Go from this place in peace, my friends, and may God continue to bless you one and all. And all God's people can say, Amen.
All praise and